Then his Colossi buy time for one more round of Warpins, and he kept doing this over and over and over again until eventually Maru's worse economy was not allowing him to trade efficiently, and Stats was making too many units.
Yeah, for sure. Guys, we're going to jump into game number 5 right now. Get out there, tell your friends that Stats versus Maru on Galactic Process is happening right now.
갤럭틱 프로세스로 떠납니다.
Here we go, guys. Game number 5. And what other player to proxy in a game number 5 but Maru himself, the player in the bottom left, the green Terran. See what he wants to go for here. Only one SCV has gone out, in fact. It looks like he was about to send another one, but decided against it. Went back and made a gas.
One Rax Reaper, basically, what we've seen him do already against Classic. Classic just went and scouted it, shut it down super hard. Goes into 2 gases, so he'll be transitioning into factory tech right afterwards, unless he adds a second barracks here and a third, which would be super all-in, but I don't think that's what his plan is. The gas timing doesn't really line up as well for that. We do see the probe come out here. We'll see if Stats scouts, because Maru, already showed this build before. Does not scout. Just go back into the main base. Both players' tournament life on the line in this game 5 here, and the first Reaper will be started. Gonna send the SCV. The SCV could bunker here as well. I think he's considering it.
Looks like it, and this is the funky thing about this map. You know, there's so much space outside the main to proxy like this that's so close to the main, but it's very hard to scout if you don't send out a probe.
Yeah. And obviously, if this bunker finishes, by the way, if you're not a regular StarCraft viewer, you don't know this, the Nexus cannot see that bunker. It's not like Stats is just not paying attention. It just doesn't have enough vision, as you can see here. Building structures while they're actually warping in give very little vision. Now, this looks like a normal timing because he sent it in a little bit delayed here. And Stats, of course,
he gets us surrounded!
He gets us around! That is huge! That really weakens this push. He's going to have a Marine out here, though, in just a moment. And back at home, he has that factory nearly completed. Look at Maru's face in the camera. He is not happy about that one. Giving a little bit of a chuckle there. He knows he's pretty frustrated about that that loss.
You know, this early on in the game, there's not that much to micro back at home, or macro back at home. There is some stuff, of course, building that factory, making SCVs. That's about it. So just a bit of a miscontrol there on that,
he does not target the Marines in time, by the way. A bit of a mistake here by Stats, and this Adept is taking a lot of damage. Magfield Accelerator on the way back home, and this Cyclone. He's getting 2 pylons down as well. He wants to overcharge those to stop this bunker. There's only 1 SCV here to repair. But if he keeps his Mothership core out too far and the Cyclone snipes it, he may lose the game off of that choice alone. Okay, gonna salvage this bunker, back off. He's got Magfield Accelerator Cyclones coming up here. And this is the right choice, I feel. Just rallying Marines out to die would never get much value here. Losing that Reaper, though, really, really hurt him.
Immediately lands that Rax again, looks like, at least.
Yeah, I
hope
think
he's making the units out of that. He's not for now.
He's going to either land it or he's going to use it for vision for the Cyclone to get lock-on range on the pylons. Oh, nice move. Stats knows just what Maru is up to, just how to stop reinforcements. He's encountered the build before. Now here comes the Cyclone over here, going to kill this Adept, and in fact the Marines will live as a result. Okay, I like this choice to commit to the Shade. He's going to lose this one anyways. Kill the Marines, weaken the push, and weaken the Cyclone. Is Adept not going to get away? Oh, he wastes the lock-on, though. That's kind of significant.
Yeah, I guess he's going to wait for the second Cyclone to come over here anyway. He's got another lock on here, very low cooldown, and he is using that Rax just for vision.
Yeah, he wants to get he needs to have vision of this pylon so that he can lock on here. Magfield server is done now. The pylon's going to go down a lot faster. He doesn't have any SCVs to repair with this, and he's also making SCVs to get home. So this is not all in, but this is very frustrating pressure to deal with as a Protoss who doesn't have Blink or even really a whole lot of units on the ground in general.
Magfield Accelerator is done. These Stalkers take so much damage. He's going to lock on a 2.
2 dead, and he's actually attacking these Stalkers that are already, warping in here, so they're going to be damaged before they can even fight. And he can just kill this pylon. The second one will come up here in a second. Knows how patient Stats is being with these overcharges. He wants to make sure they get the maximum amount of value. A third Cyclone comes over. How many lock-ons does he get? Okay, he targets specifically the pylons. He's using this barracks for vision. Doing a lot of damage, gets one pylon. This one is, I think, just a little bit low.
Yeah, and so many overcharges are used here. What's going to be left over for the Liberator in the back door? It's two of his only mining bases right now. The War Prism, such a key unit against those Cyclones. He does have one more overcharge.
Only kills one probe in total. And the barracks goes down, so no more vision. And obviously, as you mentioned, the War Prism is basically the direct counter to the Cyclone because it stops lock-ons. And Maru has to kind of go back home now and transition. And unfortunately, Cyclones don't scale really well into the mid-game. I mean, they will help him defend follow-up attacks and, make this Warp Prism unable to really find damage, barring a mistake from Maru. So that's good for him. He needs to build his SCV count up. He needs to, rebuild his bio, and he needs to get Stim. Stats in a pretty good position, though. He lost from that a few Stalkers. Well, all he really lost was pylons overall. I mean, he didn't lose very many probes. And he never lost control of his Nexus or his mining. So very well held. And now he's got Colossus tech or Disruptor tech, depending on how he wants to use this. I would imagine Colossi would be the better choice. Disruptor's a little bit risky at this point in time. Could get Prism speed if he's like really worried about more Cyclones, but I don't think that he's actually thinking that right now.
Yeah, that would be one of the first times we've ever seen this. Over in Korea, and these Cyclones, as you said, they're not doing too much. They are going to scout this Warp Prism though, and he can get the triple lock on. Yep. And there it is. It immediately goes down before Stats even has time to react.
This was a sloppy choice, flying into the Watchtower, and he didn't expect Maru to be prepared, but Maru was absolutely prepared, and that's actually a lot of damage. That's 3 dead Stalkers. I believe those are Stalkers in there. Whether they're Stalkers or Adepts, regardless, a lot of damage done. The Prism is dead, which means he can use the Cyclones a little bit more aggressively because he knows there's no Prism coming his way. He doesn't have to have them set up on the defense. Looks like he's just going to keep them with his army for the time being. Stim, +1, combat shields, all of these things coming up here from Maru. He's building a large army. And he may be able to attack before there's enough units to support these Colossi. Because again, Stats is doing this greedy Colossus third base build. It's almost like what we see from LGIM Younghwa in the old times. Remember this player that played in Pro League a little bit? That you got to cast with me. Played in many GSL Code S's as well. This kind of style is basically what we're seeing from Stats. Greedy third base, but Colossi is supported if the Terran can't attack you because he's trying to transition from his earlier attack, then you kind of get away with both. But this next attack is going to be very powerful, yet again, for Maru.
Yeah, it definitely is going to be. I mean, the Liberator going to be very key. Needs to make sure it does not get picked off. Blink is only about halfway done. Boosting forward now with the tank. Wants to get that position here on the ramp first and foremost. Get those tanks on the low ground. This map, much like Frozen Temple, does have a ramp such as this where you can, put it on the low ground here. Cyclone's now coming forward, trying to get some poking hits to start the fight.
Yep, this pylon will go down, but it's buying time. Bunker comes up here. He may decide to overcharge to stop this bunker. I don't even know if that's quite in range. The bio is going to come over here and hit the pylon. He's using this Colossus range. This is very similar to what we saw on Frozen Temple just earlier. Vikings are out on the map this time, though, so Maru has poke of his own. He's kind of altered this push a little bit to support this bio against the Colossus range.
One overcharge does go down. And as I said before, this has been key to Stats holding off these pushes in the past, is just getting those Adepts behind and picking off these reinforcements. This time, though, he's not quite far enough from the main army of Maru. Going to have those Adepts picked off and not going to be able to help out in the fight.
Imagine the power of sending even 4 or 5 Marines to this base. He could walk them over there right now and do so much damage. It's hard to get through there right now, but if he actually just had 1 medevac, he could do it. He's just going to commit to this push, though, and commit to the front instead. And Stats is just trying to hold on. He knows he has the better economy. He knows he's building a Colossus count that's going to help deal with this. But the Vikings are a problem. He cannot be losing hit points like this. And if he loses too many Colossi, he loses ground. And if he loses ground, he loses the Nexus.
Looks like he's going to go for it. The Adepts do shade in. Marines getting into the bunker. Nice Miker on that tank. And once again, the Protoss Army taking a lot of damage here. A big bank in minerals right now for Stats. He needs to spend some of that money.
He's just got a gas problem. I think he just finished his assimilators at his third base. He lost this assimilator as well, which is causing him a gas problem. And he's about to be in range of this Nexus. One slight move forward and we will be in range of the Nexus. Stalkers here trying to find value, not able to do so.
They pick off one Viking. They do blink back, and as you said, the tank getting closer and closer. Gonna pick off one more pylon. Pylon's being remade in the back. He needs that just for supply at this point.
He is in range of the Nexus now. The siege tank is hitting the Nexus, and even the probes now. The Viking count is insane as well. He has 7 Vikings right now, just poking the Colossi.
Really nice control on these Stalkers from Stats. He picks off unit after unit, gonna snipe another bunker. Does he commit here? He's looking like it, actually. Lots of Colossi, lots of Stalkers.
All right, he's gonna come forward here. The Widowmine already used its shot. The bunker's gonna go down. The Liberator doing as much damage as it can. The Vikings mostly eliminated here, which means he can't fight the Colossi. GG, Stats!
That's it!
Will advance.
Maru knows it himself. The push has been held with that many Colossi, that many Stalker Stats. He makes it through, as you know, we were expecting, but it was a much closer series. Very, very well done there in that matchup. Maru, he played a great series. He doesn't look too beaten up over it after all. He knows Stats is a very strong player, but he was so close, Matt, to making it into the round of 4.
Well, that is it for Maru for the year. He's not qualified for BlizzCon, and this is basically the last tournament. He said it in his interviews. This is his last tournament, and he drops out here in the round of 8. It's a sad story, but this is where he falls, is defeated in this first best of 5. Really strong pushes, but Stats never losing.